To revive the spirit of the times, I suppose I should start by saying, let me be clear. Uh, and, um, and we should remember, let me be clear. The We should have a moment of silence, I think. Let me be clear. For fiscal credibility. It died temporarily, I hope, on the 23rd of September 2022 at the hands of a 49-day premiership whose memory lingers like the smell of burnt toast or fecal deposit in an empty house. This week, Sir Mel Stride will make what can only be described as a limp genuflection at the altar of economic responsibility, offering a delayed apology for the cataclysmic Truss budget. Unfortunately, it arrives rather like an umbrella in a monsoon, late, soggy, and incapable of shielding the Conservative Party from the storm that they helped unleash. The Truss era should be seen as the let me be clear era. Stride's carefully worded contrition is peppered with classic Conservative tropes, including the now legendary Trussism, let me be clear, a phrase that, like all her policies, gave the illusion of authority while quietly wobbling on a precipice. While admiring Kwasi Kwarteng's prodigious package, we were called to worship at that package, and then, once revealed, it has been the stuff of ridicule ever since. When Truss said that she would turbocharge the economy, we assumed she meant growth. Instead, she turbocharged volatility. The pound tanked, mortgage rates rocketed, pension funds flirted with oblivion, and the markets, those supposedly apolitical arbiters of economic orthodoxy, delivered the ultimate Conservative humiliation of panic. So Mel Stride today says that contrition is required, that we put at risk the very stability which Conservatives have always said must be carefully protected. A noble sentiment if it weren't so drenched in belatedness, in tardiness. Like a teenager returning a stolen car with an apologetic shrug. The damage is already done and everyone's noticed. The reality, this was not a rogue experiment, it was the culmination of years of economic fantasy. Brexit boosterism, anti-institutional rhetoric, and the illusion that you can deliver Scandinavian services with Singaporean tax rates. But here's the twist. Liz Truss is not humbled, she's incandescent. According to her plan, let me be clear, that prodigious package of tax cuts was the only thing that could have saved the Conservatives from electoral annihilation. Her argument, absurd though it may seem, now functions as a test of party orthodoxy. And when the party collapses, she will say, I was right. Dare to challenge her and she'll denounce you as a Treasury stooge. It is politically delicious that a woman whose economic doctrine lasted 7 weeks has managed to weaponize the apology into a second act. The Trussites, including a few glum backbenchers and former Tufton Street interns, are now daring the party to disown her legacy or risk a civil war. On the other side, Sir Keir Bottom-Button Starmer has been gifted with the easiest line of attack in modern political memory. He scarcely needs to conjure his own economic plan, though Rachel Reeves is doing her best with a curious mixture of fiscal conservatism and quiet radicalism to look as ridiculous as Kwasi Kwarteng. Instead, Keir Starmer, simply gestures at the smouldering crater where the Conservatives' reputation for economic competence once stood and mouths, this lot, and the voters nod and roar with laughter. Stride's attack on Farage and Reform UK that they're peddling magic money tree economics might be persuasive if it were not coming from a party that fertilised the same tree only 2 years ago. Truss and Kwarteng made Jeremy Corbyn look like a prudential bookkeeper. One has to admire the audacity of Stride. It's like setting fire to your neighbour's shed and then complaining about the smell of smoke. The apology signals more than contrition. It's a party trying to row back from its own ideological indulgences without a pedal or a map. Did I say pedal or paddle? The problem, pedal, paddle, piddle, who cares? That's what it is, really, isn't it? It's nonsense. The problem is they no longer own the river. Reform has seized the populist current, Labour the managerial one, and the Conservatives are left in the eddy of their own contradictions, pleading for time, circling round and round in a little canoe. Stride says, "Give us 4 more years." The public says, "You've had 14." So here we are, an apology for Liz Truss, a little too late, a little too careful, and already being overshadowed by the wrath of the woman herself. Liz Truss remains the ghost at her own feast, or perhaps more accurately, the drunk guest at the wake, loudly insisting that she alone understood the eulogy. So, Mel, you've offered your apology. Now you need a plan, because voters don't reward humility for its own sake, they reward competence. And as the Conservatives slide to fourth place behind Farage, the Lib Dems, and possibly the cast of the traitors, one cannot help but think apologising for Liz Truss is easy. Governing after her proves impossible, as Keir Starmer, as Rachel Reeves have found. And so, with fiscal contrition whispered and Truss fuming in the wings, the Conservative Party attempts to rewrite its economic obituary. Whether the electorate is prepared to lend them a pen remains, shall we say, unclear.